The Drop with Frank and Brian is officially brought to you by Switch Suspension. Switch Suspension specializes in all vehicle chassis components. Lift kits, lowering kits, air ride suspension, wheels, tires, steering, and brake upgrades. They use all the best products from the best brands. And these guys are truck guys. You roll into their parking lot at the shop and they all drive custom vehicles. So they use their products that they sell on their own vehicles. So if you guys are looking for anything for your vehicles, whether you're just starting out or you just need some replacement parts or whatever, give them a call or visit their website, switchsuspension.com. What's up?
Oh man, I've been everywhere today.
I need to put a hat on.
There and ready.
And can't see my thinning hair now.
Hey, dude, you're talking to a pretty knowledgeable,
thinned out haired man over there.
I think thinned out is a very polite way to put it.
I got a haircut. I got a haircut a couple weeks ago, and she was like, "Okay, I'm done." And I like went like this, and I looked, and it was all, I'm all,
"Where's all the hair?
Where's it going?"
It's so funny. It's so funny you mentioned that because obviously I have like a huge complex of being bald, and I was just driving today, just cruising, and I'm just thinking about like, man, because when I was younger, I actually had long hair. When I was younger, I had long hair that went down the middle of my back, but I always like kept it in like a ponytail, like a tight ponytail. And I was like, man, when I was younger, I should have and I had really curly hair, so I should just let it go, just be long and curly. And I'm like, wait a minute, I still have hair in that area. Why don't I just go nuts and just let it grow?
There's a lot of reasons why.
I mean, yeah, okay, fine.
I mean. But it would look cool if you wore the hat. And
exactly.
Hat, yeah.
It's all just long in the back, and then I took off my hat and look like.
Yeah, that's the reason why not.
You know what I would look like? I would look like. This is a deep cut. I don't know if you'll get it. But I would look like that one, like creepy guy from the ride at Disneyland with like long bald on top, long. Anyway,
I think
welcome
you could
to
pull
the show.
I think you could pull that off. In about 30 years.
I'm gonna do
that. That's like a mid 70s. Because when you're like mid 70s, you're on the verge of just like it doesn't
you're
matter.
Almost dead anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And like you could just be a crazy.
Yeah. And that's actually my plan. Once I get to a certain age, I'm just not gonna care. And it's just
things are gonna happen.
Things are gonna happen. Anyway, welcome to the show. I got a bit of house cleaning to do. Or no, what do they say in radio? Housekeeping. Got a bit of housekeeping to do from last week's episode.
Yep.
Okay, a couple things. Me and Shane were talking about like local cruise nights here and stuff, and like back in the day. Well, there used to be a cruise night every Friday night, and it would rotate between 4 clubs. Well, we knew the first 3, which was one, my old club, Twisted Obsessions, his old club, In My World, and another club called Showboat. But we were trying to figure out who the 4th club was. It's Sunset. Sunset was the 4th club. Okay. Which brings me to my next thing, because also in that conversation we were talking about like trophies at cruise nights. Mm-hmm. And he had said that he probably was might have been the first person to do it. I'm going ahead and correct him on that because I think Sunset was the first ones to start doing trophies at cruise nights. Because
what year was that though?
I would say 2009, 2008, 2009.
So I will correct both of you on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Chemically Imbalanced remember them?
Oh, yeah.
They were a club. They were doing trophies at their cruise night in Beaumont in like 05, 06.
Okay, all right. So I'm pretty sure it was like,
and they were rad trophies. They were custom made out of beer bottles. They would take glass 40s and drill them, and then you know, the metal stems that you use to make traditional trophies, like that goes through the plastic tubes. They would put those through the bottles.
Yeah.
And use the bottles as like.
I remember those. Yeah, we did that one time for a show that my old club threw, but we used epoxy. We epoxied them on.
Yeah.
So that's I'm pretty sure it was like maybe I don't think it was any one club was doing it because back when I say Sunset, like Sunset in the beginning when they started offering trophies, it wasn't even like these nice acrylic ones. They were making them like every month. The same concept. They would make their own. I have a couple of them. I should dig them up. One is just like it's like the silhouette of a truck cut out on a piece of thing. Like they tried a bunch of different things until they like settled in on the acrylic. You know,
I have
nice trophies.
I wonder if I still have it. I'll have to find it and maybe put it right here on the video. But I know I have like a best paint or a best mini truck trophy from a cruise night that was in Riverside, and I don't remember who threw it, but it was just a little plaque, and I'll have to see if I still have it.
That's cool. Yeah. So that was actually this episode is a question and answer episode because it's a filler episode because we're getting ready for shows and that's what we do. So chew on this for a minute, but we in that conversation we were talking about is it really needed? Like, are trophies really needed? Because that's what we were talking about. Like when I'm talking about those local cruise nights that we used to have every Friday, they didn't have trophies. It was just like gathering, getting together, hanging out on a Friday night. You BS for a few hours and then you go off and do whatever you're going to do for the rest of the evening.
And for people maybe that aren't like familiar with Southern California cruise night culture, I would say.
That's a good way to put it.
Cruise nights were thrown like they were kind of like the in between of shows. So you'd have Friday nights, Saturday nights. They were just gatherings. No one really cruised. They just cruised there and parked. So they were just like it's a funny name because I remember a long time ago, I'd be like, oh, no, cruise night. And they're like, where are you cruising? And I'm like, no, we're just cruising there. It's more like a park night.
It's more like a park night. Well, I think the term originated from like those Tom's Burger cruise nights back in the day.
Which, you know, we're going to circle around to the Tom's Burger things and on one of these questions. But,
okay.
So remember that.
But, well, chew on that. I got one more thing to bring up. Okay. In our conversation, I also couldn't remember exactly how many Freak Fests there were. There were only two. There was the one in Famoso in Bakersfield and the one in San Bernardino. Like my brain was just like getting a whole bunch of different.
I thought there was two at Famoso.
That's what I thought. But our homie Yoda from Freaks said that there was only the one. So maybe we're both
I don't remember. I didn't go to any of them, so I don't. I just thought there was two at Famoso and then one in Orange County.
That's what, not Orange County, Orange Show.
Or Orange Show Fairgrounds, San Bernardino.
Yeah, that's what. Well, apparently, I don't know. Then never mind. That's not answered.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But here's the thing. You guys don't need to fact check us, all right?
We're not. Yeah. Well,
this ain't the newspaper.
Newspaper.
Where like the next morning they have the editorials at the bottom that correct the from the back. Yeah,
that's funny. That's very funny.
However we remember things, that's how we remember things.
Because like I don't, and again Yoda was saying that they had motocross there, like freestyle motocross. I don't remember that. I only remember everybody bringing 50s. There was like not hundreds, but dozens of people brought their 50s. Yeah, and that's what I remember because like I said in last episode, there was like this mini bike track on the back of this raceway. And I think people knew that, and that's why they brought their mini bikes. But it ended up like they would just like bring out cars, and people were jumping over cars on their mini bikes. It was insane.
There was someone mentioned. Yeah, so Matt Nybecken said, "Here's some details that Frank was missing from Freak Fest at Famosa."
So he has some input. That's Grimace, right? From Freaks.
You're putting me on the spot here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's Grimace. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Grimace.
Yep. Thanks, Grimace. It says, crazy enough, I was hired to do the medical aid for that event before I became a member of Freaks.
Oh, wow.
And it says they did have the Cottonmouth Kings and Edema along with a bunch of other bands. Brian Deegan was there. With Metal Militia for a freestyle MX expedition, monster truck expedition, porn stars and strippers and stuff, ton of mayhem, a lot of behind the scene details if you guys ever want to hear about them. What a wild time.
Yeah. Did he mention if there were one or two? I don't know.
He didn't.
I swear there were two.
He's just said the Freak Fest at Famosa, so maybe there was only one.
Yeah. And here we are, still unknown. It's okay. Whatever.
That's all right.
It's
also,
okay.
Cruise Nights is a good thing to go back to because I was president of council when everyone would fight about Cruise Nights. And
that was the best times.
Yeah.
At the time. Okay, go.
No. Well, I was going to say, because I said Mini Truck Council, the Southern California Mini Truck Council was a organization that I don't even know how to really explain it. Like
it is hard to explain.
All the clubs were a part of, and it was like a physical Facebook group, essentially.
That's a really good way to put it, because it is hard to say. It was just a place for all the clubs in Southern California to get together to talk about their shows,
and there was rules. Remember?
Tons of rules.
Yeah, there was like, if you throw a show, there can't be another club that throws a show on the same day. And if there was a cruise night, there couldn't be another cruise night. But when I got in, I remember just being like, well, there's a cruise night up in the desert or in Palm Springs, and then there's a cruise night in Orange County. Just let it happen on the same night. They're far enough apart.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was good. I think we've talked about that before, about the kind of like how it served such a big purpose back then, because that was before social media or anything like that. And it was just so people like, and it was mainly like, I know a lot of like clubs would go, like full clubs would go, but it was also, I think, if you were to strip it down to like the basic, what it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be like, you send your representatives to go, the other representatives from the clubs talk about their shows, and then they get that information, then they bring it back to their club and then tell their club. Although some clubs would just roll like deep, like for my old club, it wasn't necessarily mandatory, but like it pretty much every single council meeting, the whole club would roll. Yeah.
We would always just, if you don't have anything to do, let's go. Sometimes there'd be just two of us there. Sometimes, I was always there.
Yeah. You were the president.
I was, yeah. And
then, you and Ernie was the vice president.
Yeah. I still have things in my closet here.
That's awesome.
That are owned. I probably should give them back to the Mini Truck Council, but I'm not going to.
But man, the drama back in the days.
I know, it was so stupid.
It was stupid, but okay, I'm going to look at it through two different lenses here. One, yeah, at the time it was kind of dumb and redundant, but now to look at it like through a nostalgic lens, and now you're on the other side, it was kind of fun.
It was just imagine a Facebook post and then everyone in the comments fighting back and forth.
We're real life.
In real time.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when and then like, so you were in council, you were doing all the things in council and arguing and getting along and doing all those things. And then to leave council, then you become like blackballed. And I remember my old club left council and then like it was a big deal that your club was part of council. So you would really advertise that. And our old banner said Twisted Obsessions, member SCMTC. Well, after we got out, we took some black tape and put it over it as a F you to the council.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we on our old club shirt said Forbidden Fantasy SCMTC underneath.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was.
Yeah.
I like the now again looking back on it, I like the idea of it. Like
I loved it. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Being a member, and then for some reason I thought it would be fun to be president, and then it just became not fun. But the cruise nights, going back to the cruise nights thing, it was always free, and then there was no trophies, and then a few people started to do trophies. Then they started to charge like $5. Mm-hmm. That's like if you wanted to be a part of the judging process or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was just they do them out here too in Arizona. They have like the East Side get-togethers, and I think the thing called Last Saturdays. I always feel bad because I haven't been.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like on the other side of the planet for you, so.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that today. I was like, I wonder what's out on the West Side. I know they've tried a couple of things, but it'd be fun to.
Well, the question we asked ourselves last week with me and Shane, is, do you think the trophies are needed? Do you think it'd be cool to go back to that, just hanging out? There's really no other reason to be there than just hang out with your friends.
Yeah, and that's why you do it at like a taco spot. Mm-hmm. I know Joe from C10 Vatos he's been talking about doing something at a taco spot by his house, just a get together. And they have those here for like kind of like a Tommy's Burgers thing, but it's not. It's mini trucks, it's hot rods, it's whatever it is, and they have it every weekend at this Mexican spot down the street. I say down the street, 30 minutes away. But yeah, I think that cruise nights without anything attached to them is definitely the way to go.
I think they I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say that they're more fun because they're all, equally as good. But yeah, it's just cool just to chill,
Yeah, just somewhere to go. Somewhere to go, get some food with your buddies. And
I think really, because the other thing that we said, I'm remembering all these things that we said. One of the other things that we said, like if that were to happen, I think that would take a lot of pressure off of like the person hosting it. Because once you involve trophies and stuff, like, you're like, it's a mini show, so now you got to be worried about getting trophies. Are you going to get the trophies on time? And then everybody's there, and then you have to judge, and then you have to handle money. Like, it just seems like it would take a lot of pressure off of the person, throwing the event or the cruise night or whatever. Not necessarily for the participants, because the participants are going to have fun either way.
Yeah, but essentially what's going to happen is when we used to make fun of the Tommy Burgers cruise nights.
Yeah, it's full circle.
We are going to be the Tommy Burgers cruise nights.
Yeah.
That's all. And that's okay. Like that's I really like that idea of just going somewhere, hanging out for an hour, 2 hours, and then coming home.
Yeah, and then just go do the rest of what you're gonna do.
Yeah, or cruise. You know what I mean? Do whatever you want to do. I think cruise nights are definitely fun.
Yeah, growing up, the Toms. It was Tom's up here. And it's funny that in Southern California, there's all these iterations of Tom's, Tommy's, Tommy Burger, like this. Anyway, so up here it was just Tom's. And I remember growing up not even knowing about the mini truck stuff and looking at because it was Wednesdays up here. All the old dudes, posted up. But in my young brain, I didn't just see them as like old guys hanging around cars. It just looked cool, bunch of hot rods and, cool looking cars sitting out there. So I was always like, got excited for when I could take a car there. So as I got older and able to go, I took one of my first cars. It was an old car. I can't remember which one, but I actually took it there and I'm like, yeah. And then I realized like, oh yeah, wait, these are a bunch of old dudes hanging out.
Yeah. Now we're turning into those
and
guys.
Now we are those guys.
A funny story about that. Me and Doug from Creative House, who does our stickers. We were talking about, he's been going through a little bit of things with the bed of his truck. I don't know if you saw his Facebook post or not, but
no, the black truck.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Anyways, we're just talking about like, it's hard to find like good shops to work on your vehicles and and it's kind of a headache building a vehicle, whether you do it yourself or whether you pay someone. It's very expensive, whatever. And so he was just like, now I get the guys that just drive Corvettes to Tommy Burgers.
Yeah, because
he goes, there's no headaches. You just you're doing the same thing. But you just bought the car. And
you just jump in it and go. Yeah.
Because regardless of if you take all of this away, all of this is just a social gathering. It does. You know what I mean? It's just we just like these trucks, so we gather with these types of people, and these people like this. But it's all the same thing. So,
yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it, and it's kind of. I'm going to be a little bold here and say that like that's sort of like the C10 kind of jam, like a lot of those trucks are. No, I'm not going to say that. I just find similarities in those things. Well,
that's because it's easy to buy an old truck and just go hang out with your buddies.
That's that's kind of what I was alluding to, but I didn't know if it was going to come off weird.
No, it's not weird at all. And I was thinking about the C10 thing today because I saw someone comments. It was like, I'm so sick of seeing all the C10s, and in my head I'm like, that's not the C10 guy's fault that they have like this big popularity thing happening right now. That's if you're sick of that, more people need to build mini trucks then.
Yeah.
Otherwise. Just don't say anything. Like there's no like I'm so sick of C10s. I'm so sick of this. Well, why are you sick of it? Because not enough of your stuff is happening.
Yeah, that's like a good point.
But yeah, it does. It's the same. This is very similar. You know what I compare it to? Motorcycles.
Okay. Yeah, that's because yeah. Okay.
How many times I've seen this, especially with members even of our club, and it's kind of difficult to be in a mini truck club at times because you have to have like. To get in the club, sometimes you have to petition, so that takes a while. Then you have to like constantly go to things, and you have to like be active, right?
Right.
I've seen so many people just fall off and be like, "Oh, I'll just buy a Harley and just go to."
just go to Harley
now I'm in a Harley club or I'm in a bike club, and a stock bike to a modified bike. To me, when I look at things, I'm like, they kind of look the same.
Yeah, I know, right?
That one has, I mean, yeah, there's maybe, I don't know, different chrome pieces on it, or obviously there's custom bikes and stuff. But I mean, I went to Sturgis one time and I was like, oh, these guys just all bought bikes and hang out.
Yeah. Again, you really can't blame them because that's what they want to do. They just want to hang out with their friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Bikes, trucks, boats, same thing.
It's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing.
Mini trucks are just the coolest.
Oh, I think so. But that's a really interesting point that you're making. To be in a mini truck club is actually pretty involved because, yeah, you're right. All the things that you said, but also, so not only do you have to petition and you have to go to a lot of events, you have to build this really unique thing to do it.
Yeah, you can't just rock up with a stock Tacoma old truck, or a stock old truck. Like you can't just rock. Yeah, exactly. If you just went and got a 97 Tacoma that was stock, what mini truck club is going to let you in?
Exactly. But if you went out and bought a pretty stock 72 C10, you're like, hey man, that's cool. Come on in.
Yeah. But then that also goes back to the point where like now, older mini trucks are becoming classics and they're becoming like that. Yeah. So like if it would be rad at like say the Forbidden Fantasy show, our show, where there's a ton of cool lowered trucks, and then a stock 80, like a mint 85 Toyota.
There was almost that with that. Do you remember the 4Runner that was at the show? That first gen 4Runner,
the red one?
Yeah, because like think about it. If it was like 20 years ago and you just saw a lowered 4Runner, you'd be like, oh, okay. But then now it's like, you look at it like, whoa, you know what I mean?
Even
so things are already changing.
But even a completely stock one, I think what happens is when you have a new vehicle, to make it unique, you have to take things away from it and add to it. But when something becomes old, it's harder to find the parts for it. So it actually becomes more unique to make it factory.
Yeah. And also, the older they get, the more cool it is to see a super clean one, restored or not. Like if it was all original and clean, that's one thing. But even if you took the truck and restored it back to original, that's pretty neat too. So I think that also comes with time.
Yeah, and it also comes with trucks in general, whether it's a Toyota pickup, Mazda, or a Chevy C10, because they were purpose built to not be nice.
Yeah, exactly. They were work trucks.
New trucks nowadays are luxury vehicles, but compared to the old trucks, they're meant to be beat up.
Yeah. What's funny is when I was younger working on the car lot, that was like in the mid 90s or late 90s. I was in the late 90s and everything was 65 and older. Like if it was a 67 Impala, you'd be like, ugh, or like I remember one distinctly at the time when we had it, we picked up, it was a 72 Lincoln Diamond Edition. I don't know, it was something, but it was super clean. It was a 72, perfect interior, perfect paint. But I looked at it, I'm like, oh, it's a 72. Like, it's like a brand new car kind of. But now I'm like, I remember that car and I'm like, dang, that thing was pretty tough.
Yeah. The American cars got weird. American cars got weird mid 70s to through the 80s. Like,
but again, what my point is that perspective. Like when I was young, it was big and 70s and ugly. Now I'm like, oh, it's big 70s and ugly. That thing's tight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's all perspective.
It is. So I don't know. I always see people make comments, and I used to be the person too that made the comments just out of like pure not thinking about it.
Yeah.
And now I think about stuff more, and I'm like, oh no, that's actually okay.
That could be the other side of it too. Is like, when you're young, you just spout off stuff, not really thinking about it, and as you get older, you just put a little more thought into it. Yeah, exactly what you said.
Yeah, because I used to be like, oh, a lower truck is dumb.
Oh,
like
you were that?
I was like, no, if you're going to be in a mini truck club, you need to
I see what you're saying.
You need to no, that thing needs to be bagged.
Okay. I thought you meant the way I took that at first is like when you were younger, you said lowered trucks are dumb. I'm all, excuse me?
Oh, no. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Like if you're not bagged, at least bagged, then don't waste my time.
Don't even bother. Yeah. Don't try to petition my club with that stupid static drop Nissan hardbody.
Yeah, I know.
That now I'm building.
And now you have one.
Speaking of, it goes to the shop tomorrow in the morning at 8.
Nice. Oh, so you're not waiting. I know, but like you usually don't talk about that kind of stuff till.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, okay.
You wanna say it?
Yeah. So the video should be up by the time this vlog is up. Is this
cool.
is this your channel or my channel?
Your channel, Monday. Odd.
Oh, yeah. So we might have a dual upload on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
a vlog
And
a Nissan video and a podcast. I wouldn't do it on the same day. I'll probably. Anyways, today's Thursday. Tomorrow morning, I'm taking it down to Tray 5.
Oh, cool.
And we're gonna hammer it.
Nice.
And then, hopefully, I was like, oh, do I say that or not? But then Jeremy just messaged me. He's like, what time tomorrow? And
So
I'm
it kind of
like,
got you excited.
so now I'm just like, okay, so
Yeah.
it is going to happen. Because at first I'll be like, oh yeah, we're going to do this and do this.
Oh,
and then he would
yeah.
message me and go, hey, can we wait till next week?
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
Oh,
I already
now
talked
who
about
you
it.
make look dumb, Jeremy?
Yeah. Thanks, Jeremy. So anyways, hopefully it happens. Hopefully it goes smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully there's a video up sometime around the beginning of the week. Or
Nice.
Sunday. We'll
I
see
am,
how the week
dude.
goes.
I still have to edit the Lone Star. I haven't even started.
Well, you still haven't even done Chubbs.
What?
So you want to know a little secret?
Of course.
All right. So it's not like that it was like a job, right? So it can just be uploaded whenever it be worked on, whenever. But if you wait too long, which I've done in the past, you can flip it and go, I'm just going to wait for this one like 2 months or 3 months before the next Chubb.
Oh, and then get them ready.
and then use that to promote it.
There you go. That's exactly what I'm doing. So, Izzy, if you're listening, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, see? Mm-hmm. I made a video to like highlight the after. You're going to make a video to like promote the next.
There you go. I like that. And I'm probably going to make a video anyway this year, but it's going to be a little different. But yeah, I like it.
Me too.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Me too. Because I'm LST. I've been like nibbling at it. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, you haven't uploaded yours either, so I don't feel super bad.
Nah, we've been busy.
Dude, that is an understatement.
Also, I totally forgot if Pat from Canada is listening to this. I was kind of cleaning my office today, going through stuff, and I saw this box over here, and I was like, what's this box? I was like, oh, he was waiting for an XL drop shirt that I was supposed to get him at our show and then send him the rest of these because he's got a hoodie in here and he's got some other T-shirts in here. And I was like, oh, so I have to get an XL drop shirt from you.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I'm
Pat,
going to be reprinting them next week.
If you're listening to this, I will send that to you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But I'm rolling out. We got to, that's a little BTS, but we got to decide, because you asked me in a message a couple days ago what I thought about like the situation driving out there. So not that I wasn't going to answer. I was just going to wait till we talk in person. And then we'll talk in the post.
We're talking right now.
Oh, we're talking right now? We're like going to get in the mud?
Yeah. So this is the behind the scenes. So we're essentially getting prepped for mini nats. And what I asked you was, what we usually do for mini nats is you drive out on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Wednesday morning we wake up and we cannonball run all the way to North Carolina.
And so usually in years past, we've not really got out of like on the road from Phoenix until like 9-ish. Mm-hmm. And that puts us 9 o'clock Thursday rolling into the gates. Because we're kind of rushing there to get there before it gets too late, because we don't want to like get there at midnight and have the guys like either like have to set up on Friday or have the guys open the gate like super late, you know? Yeah,
exactly. So, and in the years past, it was like sometimes we would have to wait in Nashville and to wait till Chelsea and Angie landed, or just Angie. But this year, it's just us, right?
It's just us. Yeah, same as last year.
So same as last year. So what are your thoughts on that whole thing on leaving?
So I started like mapping it out, and it seems to be the halfway point between Phoenix and there is Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. That's the middle. So it's like 15 hours from Phoenix to Oklahoma City, and then 15 hours from there to Maggie Valley. And so it's actually kind of weird, because if we left again Wednesday morning, and if we left early, and we drove 15 hours and got to Oklahoma City, it would still take us 15-ish hours plus some extra messing around, and we would still get there late Thursday night. Mm-hmm. So in order for it to like kind of make sense, is we either do that and be rushing to get there Thursday night, leave Wednesday morning, or I come out Monday, we leave Tuesday morning, stop in Oklahoma City, and then keep going, and then get there like early either late Wednesday night or early Thursday morning.
Do you want to know my idea?
Hit me with it.
All right. My idea was if you left your house Tuesday morning, got here, we did this the switchy-roo with the getting everything done, and then we just left. We don't necessarily have to get to we don't have to get halfway, but if we imagine instead of waking up Wednesday morning and we were here in Phoenix, imagine waking up Wednesday morning and we were in the New Mexico, Texas area.
Yeah, I think we could. Yeah,
because then we could drive straight from there. We don't have to
Oh, that's right. That's a good point.
We could just drive instead of driving 30, 40 hours straight. We could drive 25 hours straight.
That's a good point. The only thing is so I usually I try to leave right after I drop my kids off, which is the second one leaves at 8:30. So let's say perfect scenario, I'm on the road by 9 o'clock, 5 to 6 hours to get to your place. So what does that put me at? What is that? 9,
2,
10, 11, 12, 1. I got my finger. So 2. I mean, our best case scenario, an hour to swap everything over.
Best case scenario, let's just say we left here at 5 p.m.
Okay, that's a little bigger window.
Right?
Yeah,
that's more realistic for the way we operate.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm taking into consideration. All this stuff
because there might be 2 boxes of something you have to pick up on the way out here.
From Brandon.
Yeah,
that changes things because that.
I know I'm gonna call him after this and try to get him done. Hopefully,
if I pick him up at his house, his house is on the way. His shop isn't. By the time you add it all up, it's an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that part out later.
Okay.
But even if we left here at 5 and we drove for 8 hours, what is that? That's midnight.
Yeah, midnight 1. I'm using my fingers over here.
That's still a big jump. Even if we got 2 into New Mexico.
And you know what that also does is that because again, how we are, Wednesday morning comes, I get there Tuesday night, we do I was hoping we could record a podcast, but we'll talk about that. That's another thing. But by the time you get up in the morning and get going, but at least if we're on the road, we will get up and be gone. We don't mess around too much when we're out on the road.
And if we get there Thursday night, we can record a podcast there Thursday night to talk about our road trip out there.
I like this.
And then upload it. We'll just get, because it'll be both of us. There's not a lot of editing involved. So we can just boom, upload it. And that one comes out Monday. Because we get,
I'm excited. That makes me excited. I like
because when we get home, I'm not going to get home till Tuesday morning. You're not going to get home till Tuesday afternoon, night.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then we both have to turn around and be back out. You're going to Meltdown. I'm going to Southern California.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
So we need to record our post episode that Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or that Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be that's why I was think about all these scenarios.
Yeah.
And just kind of put it in your head and get the wheels turning. So, but if you left Monday and got here Monday night and then Tuesday morning we left, then now we're just on cruise control.
Yeah. And which I can do because I'm actually, pat myself on my back, I'm actually doing really good on getting ready.
Oh, cool.
Usually it comes down to the week of, and I'm kind of stressed out. Before Forbidden, I was pretty stressed out coming off of Lone Star Throwdown and then taking that time to decompress and then ramping up to get going again. I didn't allow myself that this time. I just basically just jumped right back into it to get ready, which is something different for me, but it's working nicely because now I have probably a few more pieces to pick up. So by the end of next week, I'm pretty much ready to go.
It really feels good doing that.
Yeah, it does.
Just getting ahead, because I was the same way when I got back from Forbidden, Kentucky. And now I'm constantly moving. I went and got that trailer. I'm just okay, now I'm just ready to go. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, wow. We're actually doing things correctly. Kinda. Anyway, I have my notes today.
Oh, do you? Oh, look what I found.
Oh, nice. Mine's still in the truck.
Yeah. My mom brought it over. She was like,
oh, cool.
You gave me this notepad at the show.
Oh,
oh yeah. I want that.
Cool. Yeah. That's
all right.
Thanks, Donald.
So we'll figure now that we kind of have like this rough idea that we want to leave a little early for mini nats,
Yeah.
and then we can dial in the details, and then you can just be like, I'm leaving Monday or I'm leaving Tuesday, whatever you want to do. I'm game for it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll iron them out. Now we got it roughed out. Now we'll iron them out.
And now
everybody's on
anything
the edge of their seat waiting to see what happens.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be like, are they leaving Monday? Are they leaving? Oh, the most important thing is we cannot drive through Nashville in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, that is very important because we are psyching ourselves up for that.
What time does Hattie B's open? Because we have to figure that. We have to get there either in their operating hours.
And maybe some people listening would be like, what's the big deal? Like that is like a really driving factor in all this stuff.
I would say obviously Mini Nats is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's like a treat.
It is definitely a treat. And every year that we go, which is kind of like, I kind of feel weird because like every year it's like the same thing, but it's actually really important because it keeps you going. Like if you have a goal when you're doing something like that, as like redundant as a chicken sandwich from the chicken sandwich spot, at least it's something, at least you have a goal.
It's like Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I got to drive through freaking Texas again. And you're like,
but at the end,
but there's Buc-ee's. So imagine the people coming from Texas to here. What's their treat?
I don't know because there's In-N-Outs everywhere. Like that's not it.
And there's really nothing special in Phoenix. Good Mexican food.
Good tacos. Good
tacos.
Yeah, good tacos, good Mexican food.
Yeah.
That's got to be it.
Don't reply with Tex-Mex because
don't get off that. Get out of here.
Nobody cares.
Uh-oh. Stoking the fire.
I know.
But yeah, sounds like a solid plan for Mini Nats so far.
Okay. So we are 40 minutes into this.
All right. Let's do a little.
It's time for the
dropping in,
which we need a tune for still.
Yeah.
I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on that.
All right, cool.
Fiverr.
Oh, one last. Sorry, I had this.
Oh no, yeah.
Just really quick. It's funny that we're like planning out like this mini nat thing and kind of putting these ideas. Am I going to leave Monday? Am I going to leave Tuesday? And I'm willing to bet our listeners and viewers are going to start being like, well, which day? Like, because it blew me away at Forbidden how many people came up to me, or no, not Forbidden. What was the thing? Oh, when I left for LST. When I was when like tell me to get going and be on the road, and how many messages I got. Did you leave yet? What's going on? Are you on time? Are you?
It's good for you guys to keep us accountable.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we need someone to do it.
Well, yes. But anyway, dropping in.
Bring. I don't know.
Go ahead. What you got?
I don't know. I sent you the questions.
Oh, you did. Oh, well, I read them. I didn't make it like, okay. Anyway, what are the questions?
You said send me the questions so I can make notes. Did you make notes about the questions?
I didn't. I made other notes though. I was like talking to my little thing from last episode. But I got some ideas. I read them and I got some ideas.
Okay, so which one do you want to start with? You want to start with the one that was emailed to me?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of goes with the cruise night thing and hanging out stuff. Okay, so this is from Emmett Johnson, who emailed the website, the Grinder TV website. But that is one way to get a hold of us.
Mm-hmm.
Question for the drop. I didn't know where to ask. I'm in my mid-40s, went to Endless Summer and Spring Splash in the 90s, was in a club that merged with Severed. At the time, I got into hot rods, then imports, so I didn't join Severed. Was friends with a lot of the old club. Then 10 years ago, I moved to Mesa, Arizona from the other state. I only know one mini trucker down here. He's a negative camber, but in West Glendale. So I'm closer to Glendale, and he's on the east side in Mesa. It's about an hour-ish apart. We'll message to hang out, blah, 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 blah. I have a mild-built bagged OBS Tahoe, not bodied or framed, that I've shown a couple of times since moving here. They weren't good experiences for me. What do you recommend for me when at my age, where I'm not a partier or drinker, to be around other people that love these mini truck style vehicles, or to get involved in a club here in Arizona?
Yeah. And us being...
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on. We can unpack it one piece at a time. And being also both of us 40-year-old middle-aged people. Like, I guess we could relate to that.
Yeah.
So the first thing first is, so like he must have been part of Choice Concepts if that was the club that turned into Severed.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting in itself. Not anything to do with that question, but one time I was in, when I was younger, I was doing fire protection, like installing fire sprinklers in buildings. And we were building this Wendy's in somewhere in Palm Springs. And I remember working one day, and this guy's up on a ladder, and I kind of glance over, and I see on his calf a Choice Concepts tattooed on him. And I was like, oh, hey, and then, we chopped it up for a while and talked about like, oh yeah, that was the club. And then, Severed broke off. They severed their ties. Yeah. And then actually their logo is half a diamond.
Yep.
And then Severed finished it with the whole diamond. Anyway, just interesting little backstory.
Very much so.
So that's interesting. But the next thing about his, I think it's like anything as we're getting to the age that we're at, as far as like going out, making friends and being part of organizations and stuff like that. It is a bit harder, but I've always thought that, and I don't know what his experiences were. I can only talk from my experiences, that miniature clubs are usually very open to like people coming in and hanging out.
I think what happens though is it's a time thing. So you're going to, there's this mini truck club. I'm going to go hang out with them. And then it takes a little time to figure out, do I like them? Do I not like them? And then you got to go and hang out with this other one. And people just don't have house parties anymore like they used to. They don't, and he just said he's not a partier or a drinker. And I was going to say, like Pro Performance, AZ Pro, they have a trucks and coffee once a month. Obviously summertime's coming, so that's going to stop. Well, no, he does that strict or specifically for summer out here in the morning because it's cooler. Anyways, like, yeah, those type of shows and like the reunion that was out here, that type of stuff. But it's hard to like find a group of people when you don't know many people just to kind of go like, like infiltrate with, because that's the tough part, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard because unless you at least know one he says he does know someone in Negative Camber, so I mean that's sort of like on the right path. So like what I would say is if that's your one person who's within the scene that like they're like, hey man, what show are you going to? Then go with them and hang out, and then just kind of observe things and check things out and see. I mean, because you could pretty. This is kind of a bold statement, but definitely each club has its own unique set of people. And I don't think it's a secret to say that like you can tell like the groups of people who man, I don't want to word this wrong. Like, you can definitely tell like what your personality matches, which club your personality matches. So basically that's what you got to kind of do is like sit in the cut, observe what's going on, look at how each club interacts, and then try to figure out where your personality fits in.
Yeah, and I would say being from here, he's from Arizona, lives in Arizona now. We're getting into the hot months, so there's not much happening. But I would start honestly just with going to the Pro Performance trucks and coffee and just pulling up and just. Or hit me up when you go, you know what I mean? And I'll go because I've been meaning to go for a little bit and, just walk around and look at the trucks. Yeah. And say hi. The C10 Club stuff, I would actually like, not recommend it, but just like go and hang out at those little get-togethers. And eventually you will find the people that kind of connect with you, what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, definitely. And also I will say that, as the scene has grown up together and gotten older, I think people have been more accepting of each other over the years. Because you got to think when we're all young and we're all in these different clubs, like although we got along, there was still like lines drawn, like this is us over here, and then. But I think as time goes on, those lines have kind of been erased because now it went from like going somewhere and like I'm forbidden, no regrets, severed ties. Now, and everybody's kind of like standing there, doing whatever. Now it's just like you go to a show and everybody's like, hey, whoa, what's going on?
It's very inclusive. And it's also like, what a very good example, and I totally forgot about this, but if you're listening to this, Emmett Johnson, Sunset out here is a very unique club. They've got some C10s. They've got some mini trucks. They've got younger guys, and then like the guys out here in Glendale, the Glendale area on this side, Peoria and stuff. One of the guys, they both have C10s. It's his dad and him, and they were both at the reunion show. And like they're super good guys, and they live on the same street as the Aftermath guys out here.
Oh,
and so like I would definitely like just start go. Yeah, I would just take your truck out and find some people, and it'll happen naturally. Yeah. And the partying and drinking thing, people don't like do that like they used to do that.
No, yeah, it's definitely not part of like you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you had to do it back then, but it just like
it was just a thing, and it was definitely like more people don't drink as much now, or they casually drink. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm gonna drink and get like super sloppy and like do stupid things. It's more of just like I'm just gonna drink and have fun. So it's kind of the same thing as being sober, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. We've said this a lot on this podcast, saying that like how things have evolved and changed and how things are now. And I think it's a lot more. I think it's definitely a lot more chill. It's like super chill.
Yeah. Also look up Cruise to the Pines. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening to this, Cruise to the Pines is another great show that is mini trucks and C10s, and there's just everything that goes there. So that would be a really good show too. And everyone cruises together. So again, Emmett, if you're listening to this, look up Cruise to the Pines, or hit me up on Instagram or email again, and I'll let you know all the information.
And also later on the year, Severed in the Southwest. That's another great show to check out.
There's tons of them. So
yeah.
If you're listening to this, Emmett, thanks for the question. Hit me up, and I'll try to show you some events to go to.
Point them in the right direction.
I'll even let you know who the people to stay away from.
That would be an interesting. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good one. Our buddy Michael Myers.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Yeah. What's up, Michael Myers? Says, how do you feel about a few questions into one. How do you feel about specialty vehicles at mini truck shows, like motorcycles, bicycles, box trucks, anything other than true roots mini trucks?
It's funny because like we used to deal with this back in the day because my old club used to help out with Summer Madness, like the show portion back in the day. And I think they're cool. Like if you had a truck and then you had like a really cool, like Los back in the day had these really cool stretched out bikes. People have cool BMX bikes and stuff like that. I think, and this is just my opinion, but like, if you have something extra that's cool and you're like, I'm just going to show this off, that's cool. But I think when you like make it your identity at these shows, that is when I'm like, maybe you should, maybe build a truck. I don't know.
Well, it's at a truck show, if you're there to win a trophy and you don't have a truck or whatnot, then it's it's a little weird. But that's why the specialty award exists, and it's been around for years. And we actually don't have one at our show, for this exact reason, because we're limited on space, so we don't want to create and take away space from mini trucks or custom vehicles. And to put a street bike or a Harley or something like that there.
Yeah.
Because that's what the specialty award was. It was if you usually didn't have a motorcycle class or a bicycle class or a toy car class, people are building golf carts or anything like that. So it would all just be bunched up in this specialty, and you would just give specialty. We had, I think, first through third at the Forbidden Show at Paris, when we did have the nooks and crannies of the facility to like put these different things. But even Forbidden Fantasy next year, I'm actually thinking of just eliminating the lifted truck thing altogether, because it's a truck show. We want to fill it with lowered trucks, and with limited space, you want as many lowered trucks there as possible.
Right.
So same with specialty. That's why we don't have the specialty awards. I think if you have the space at a venue, I think specialty awards are rad. I think because it kind of just fills the gaps in.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I think, that's sort of what the point I was trying to make. I think when it's just like an extra thing, it's pretty cool. Like I said, if you had a badass truck and then you just, for fun, you built this crazy golf cart and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm just going to bring it with me. And there you go. But like I said,
if you're taking it, like if you're like, I'm going to take all my 6 bicycles to this truck show.
Yeah.
When I don't even own a truck. And then I'm going to get mad when I don't win.
Yes, that was what we used to run into back in the day. You would have certain people who would do that. and then get all upset, and then it just caused a whole bunch of things. But yes, I completely agree.
Yeah. Get mad because your bicycle didn't win at the mini truck show.
One of the guys in my old club, I'll put him on blast a little bit, but I think he could think it's funny now, is he had this like little wagon, and it started off exactly what we're talking about. He had this really cool car, and then he like had this little wagon, and he like cut it up a little bit and lowered it, and it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then it was like, then he powder coated it, and then he like added, and he just like started investing all of this money into it, to the point where like, we're like, hey man, where's your car? And he's like, oh, I brought this. This is what I spent all my money on this month. And I'm like, okay, man.
That's cool. But you're in like a real car club, not like
not a
wagon club.
Yeah. Sorry, Dennis. I haven't talked to
Oh,
that
you
guy.
didn't even say his name at the beginning. You just said it at the end.
Sorry. Like I haven't talked to this dude for like 15 years. Anyway.
Dennis, if you're listening, Frank's a jerk.
It was a really cool little wagon.
That's the thing, is like everything's cool in its own right, but I'm not going to take my lowered Toyota to like the lowrider bike show and then
That's true.
And then, I'm not saying that people complain or anything like that, but that's just my feelings on it.
Right. Hope that answers your question, Mike. And Mike, he's sitting there with his little bike, and he's just like standing in his yard like, no, sorry. No,
Sorry.
Mike has a dope truck.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a super cool truck.
His next question is easy to answer. Is Frank looking at a set of billets in the future? I think he was just poking fun at you.
No, but I actually have an answer. I was thinking about that because I was all over the place today, so I was driving around a lot thinking. And I thought about it. I was like, no, I don't think I'll ever own a set of billets. Because I don't know where you said it, but just recently you said that like you don't have the patience or it was Rich posted in our club group. Oh, like, that's right.
Brian should buy these and put them on his hard body.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just too lazy.
Yeah, that's it. And like, again, I'm just chrome wheel guy. Like, I think that's my identity.
Here's the thing: you shouldn't make everything your identity, right? Like,
I said that earlier. Yeah,
that's because everything has like a look. So when you say you don't like billet wheels, it's mostly you don't like the buzzword around like billets are the only thing that's cool, and these aren't cool. Like it's almost like people that have billets think they're better than the people that don't, and it's not true. It's just another wheel,
right?
They just happen to be more expensive. But like on a Nissan, I've seen Nissan hard bodies with like 18-inch billets on them, and they look sick.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I don't want to polish them.
Yeah,
because if I had 18-inch billets on my Nissan hard body, they would look like dirty chrome wheels all the time.
Exactly. It'd just be the same thing with me, dude. They would just look oxidized and they would look silver. Like, why'd you paint your wheels silver?
Yeah, exactly. Like, no.
I think, and then this is the other thought I put into it. One, I would always pick a set of chrome wheels over billet wheels. And two, but then you're like, okay, well, what, if like your OBS, for example, like, would you put some big chrome wheels on that?
Nope.
No, I don't think I would.
No, because that goes back to the vehicle.
Right. But yeah, I agree. Like, I probably wouldn't do that, but I would go like a wheel that you have, like a brush face with like a polished lip. Like, that's more what that's sort of like what I would find that I like.
Yeah. And again, it's a money thing. Because I'm not going to build a truck that requires big billet wheels or anything like that. And I think like if you had a brand new Chevy truck, that like those Fat Fabs trucks that they, those like 2022 full size Chevy body dropped, they don't look good on much other things than a billet wheel.
That's the hard part. Like, I love full size trucks. But then, like, but is it bold to say that, like, you're building a full-size truck, you almost have to put a billet on it, but then you're building a full-size truck that's not,
Well, my full-size, an OBS is definitely in a different full-size truck category than brand new truck. So it's like, yeah. And then I don't know, the billet wheel thing is just, it's very vehicle specific.
Right. Because I was also thinking, like, I was like, well, okay, what about if I built a C10? What would I do? Because like, that's a thing, like C10s, they look ultimately the best on billet wheels. Like,
I don't know. Cause you can get away with like a lot of more stuff on a C10 because you don't have to put big wheels on a C10.
That's true. And that's the conclusion that I came to. I said, because like, again, I was just daydreaming thinking okay, I'm like, I'm going to build a C10, probably like a square body, something like that. I would really want to, or even actually any C10 square body or the round, early 70s or even the 60s ones, I would totally put on a set of Supreme wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think so
but
sick.
you can't put a set of Supreme wheels on a 2022 Chevy truck.
Exactly.
You're kind of like, you're either billets or you're like a 3-piece, like a very high-end wheel. But at the same time, that it's essentially the same thing.
I didn't think about the three. Yeah, they are essentially the same thing. But with the 3-piece wheels, you can get a little more creative with them.
Yeah. They don't look like everybody else out there.
Yeah, that's like, again. But also we're just like throwing things out there. You're talking about like an $8,000 set of wheels.
I'm never gonna have that.
Exactly.
If I had a square body C10, it would be like on 20-inch like rally style wheels or a steel wheel or like a
Detroit steel.
Like a Detroit steel. Just again, it comes down to I don't want to spend that much money on wheels. Mm-hmm. If I was rich, then whatever. You know what I mean? I'm going to have like a bunch of cool things, and the money's not going to be an option. But I'm not, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But
then again, also on the other side of the coin, Dino's his new Silverado that just dropped on those repop wheels.
Oh, that's cool.
So sick. Looks so good.
Yeah. It just all depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to the thing. Like we're kind of really dissecting Mike's kind of just like little funny offhanded comment, but I mean it's worth dissecting because you're just like, oh, is Frank ever going to have billets? Well, that's a way more complicated question than are you just going to have a set of wheels that are made out of a billet material?
Yeah, is Frank ever going to have a?
I think the better question is Frank ever going to invest in a nice set of wheels? That's a better question.
Yeah, because honestly, if I had a brand new truck, I'm not looking at billet wheels. I'm looking at like a set of avant-gardes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
But this question will always be a thing because we do talk about it quite a bit.
Yeah. And to the point where Donald makes us funny little cards and say, "I hate billet wheels." I wear it now. I'm wearing it like oh, there's Frank who hates billet wheels. It's not true.
Which is the funny thing because we think exactly like that. Mm-hmm. Like I had the same exact opinion as you do about billet wheels, but you like it's like it goes to you. Like
I know
it's just you, and it's
funny. Anyway, that was a little deep dive, and I'm 100% sure we will talk about it again at some point and re-dissect it.
It's a fun conversation.
Well, you know why? Because I think why wheels in general is such a hot thing to talk about is because it's like the basis of, it's like the beginning.
And the reason that we talk about billet wheels so much is because people just think that billet wheels instantly makes your truck cool.
Yeah.
And it's a dumb thing. It's like a dumb thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna go get billet wheels. Mm-hmm. Well, which billet wheels are you gonna get? Like, right. I'm gonna get intros or I'm gonna get race lines. And well, but are you gonna get spokes? What do you like? It's the design. It's ultimately the design of the wheel, not the makeup of the wheel.
Exactly. Yeah.
So whether it's a cast wheel, whether it's a forged wheel, whether it's a billet wheel, it doesn't matter. Just get cool wheels. Like you don't have to say billet wheels because it sounds
right.
It's like the cool thing to say these days.
Right.
We are what is it? It's 12:30 now. No, it's 3:30 now.
3:30.
That question was asked at 12:30, and I have the image on my phone.
That's funny.
Because I screen capped it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll end with this one.
Okay.
Because it's kind of on the end. Yeah, this is kind of an ironic question. Do you feel that certain podcasts running longer than an hour?
Oh, that's funny.
Or helps or hurts your fan base?
I think we're still figuring it out. Like we try to keep these to an hour. One, because like we had a lot of stuff going on. So sometimes it's easy. Like right now, my day started off. I had to go listen to the other episodes where I talk about down the hill. This morning I had to go down the hill, and then while I was down there, I had to drive to another place that was pretty far to see my sister, and I had to do all these things. So, and now and very soon here in the next 15 minutes, I got to go get my kids. So an hour seems to fit nicely in these little pockets of what we do.
Yeah.
Whether like you got shoots going on, or I'm working in the shop, or we got life in general going on. But I don't think we've yet to know. Does it help or hurt? I don't know.
I don't think it does either, because some people, if they like Donald was saying, I think he says he's got an hour commute, so he listens to it on his commute.
I hear that he's not the first person to say that. A lot of people say that they have about an hour or so commute and it fits perfectly into that.
Yeah, I enjoy both. You know what I mean? Because I listen to podcasts when I wake up in the morning and I'm getting ready and I'm cooking breakfast. Like that's when my podcast's listening to, and then when I walk in here, my podcast gets shut off.
Well, yeah, because you got to concentrate on.
Because I'm concentrating on usually videos, but then the podcast will come back on if I'm doing photos.
Right.
So like it's a whole thing. But I also, when we have guests, they're definitely going to go over.
Oh yeah, because we don't restrict them to anything.
Well, except roulette. Except roulette.
Well, that was different circumstance.
He's still.
I'm just hearing partying going on outside, and I'm like,
you're backing up.
It's interesting for me that I'm the opposite, because like, were you like in the morning, that's your podcast time, and then you get to work where you need to concentrate on what you're doing, which I also edit and do that too. But the chunk of my work is standing behind my press, printing t-shirts. Therefore, I like really long podcasts. Yeah. Because if I'm standing there for 8 hours and I need it to go on more than an hour. So when there's a podcast that's a couple hours long, I'm like, sweet, at least I can do this. And then in my mind, like I start like, okay, well, if I can listen to this and get this done, then I could break for lunch. You know what I mean? So I start building these like little schedules in my head. So
So I think podcasts or whatever, because you can just stop a podcast and then pick it up later on. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. But I think an hour is like a good goal.
I think that's good. I think, not anything under an hour, but if it's like 30 minutes or so, like that's too short.
It's funny when sometimes I'll look through podcasts. I'm like 20 minutes. I don't want to watch that. I'm like 3 hours. That's too long.
Yeah, that's too long. Got to find
an hour.
I do the same thing with videos too.
Oh yeah. With YouTube videos. Yeah. Same thing. I'm like 33 minutes. 11 minutes. I'm watching that one.
Yeah. Or like, just having a cup of coffee and watch a 5-minute John Boy video. Mm-hmm. Like those are the best. I
need to catch up on that.
Dude.
How's real quick, how's the Dodgers been doing?
Good. Better than I expected them, because like, without going into a whole bunch of it, I think I've said this before, like the Dodgers have gotten, like, they were free agents and like contracts ran out and they let them go. So this year is like the year of the kind of the freshmen, like all the new guys coming up from the minors, all the farm guys coming up. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And so it was like there was this whole, even way before the season started, a lot of the fans and pundits and everything like that were like, hey, it's just, you got to look at it like just let the kids play and blah blah. But they came out strong. They're raking. They're doing really good. So
I'm excited because over the next 2 weeks, the Dodgers and Cubs.
Oh, that's right.
I'm a Cubs fan. You're a Dodgers fan. Uh-huh. They play 7 times.
That's cool.
I think the Cubs go to LA for 3 games and then the Dodgers go to Chicago for 4, or vice versa. I know that I was talking to Carl yesterday and he is going to a Cubs Dodger game because his sister lives in Chicago and,
cool.
and she's a Cubs fan and he's a Dodgers fan.
That's awesome. That's really fun.
But I was like looking at the schedule. I was like, oh, we're going to be driving and get to listen to Cubs Dodgers
awesome.
game. Like I love that.
That was great. Do you remember the one year when Angie rolled with us all the way out there and the same thing happened and we were watching him in the truck?
Yeah.
And like we said before, like we're 2 different fans. Yes. Like I remember cruising along, like me and Angie were loud fans. Like our kids.
You're invested in every pitch.
Every single pitch. And like our kids will be in their rooms talking to their friends on their phone. And then they're like, are your parents fighting? We're in the living room screaming.
You're still fairly new fans.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I would be curious to see if that tapers off in like 10 years.
Well, yes, we're new fans to baseball, but we've been into basketball and stuff for a long time, but we're competitive people. Like that's the other thing. Angie more than I.
Angie is very competitive.
Angie more than I, and that's why she's such a good softball coach, and that's why she's really into that stuff. She's got a really competitive spirit. So that's how we are. And I remember this wasn't even a Dodger Cubs game. We were just listening to a Cubs game out on the road, and I'm like chilling in the passenger seat, and we're cruising along, and it was like a 2-run home run, and I'm all, and you didn't say anything, and I'm all, you heard that, right? Yeah, 2-run home run. I'm like, all right.
Just because I'll get excited at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Once that last pitch is thrown, it's just being a Cubs fan is
then
tough.
You sing your song.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get excited at the end of the game. I mean, It's being a Cubs fan is tough. You don't get excited for much.
Right. And we'll end it on that. No. But yeah, no,
All right.
it's going to be fun. This season's going to be fun.
I think so.
And the
too.
trip is going to be fun.
I'm super excited for it.
Me
I'm
too.
excited because it's going to be a little new with the new truck and the trailer.
That's right. Oh, I
just
didn't know
the new setup.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the next episode.
Okay.
Because we got one more episode to go before the insanity of that trip starts.
I am excited because it's going to change up everything.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that next episode.
All right. Thanks. Go to our websites.
Yes.
I'm going to say it. This
Okay,
time.
you go. Yeah, I always say it. You go ahead.
I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Go to our websites, livelifecustom.com, grinder-tv.com. We're giving away a Switch something or other, a Switch air manifold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy
stuff, enter to win. I will try to get my new shirts on there sometime. I promise. All right. Later.
All right. Bye.